Hi, in this video I want to show you how to change attributes in glowscript or VPython. So let's say that I create a sphere. So I'm going to say, and this is often our first program that we run, a sphere. It is by default located at 0, 0, 0, and it's white and it has a radius of 1. Sphere is a class of objects that has some built-in attributes. So I'm going to go over and click on Help. And when I choose a 3D object sphere, I see all these different attributes that the object sphere has. Position, axis, color, radius, size, and things like that. So when I go and say, okay, I'm going to give it a position, so I'm going to say position equals. Now position is a special kind of attribute in that it's a vector, and you know it's a vector because I can either preface it with the entire word vector, or I can just shorten it to VEC, and then I need to include the X and the Y and the Z position. So, and I'm going to do that, and also I'm going to give it a color equals color dot, maybe I'll say cyan. Make sure I've got the right number of parentheses. Yeah, it looks good, so I'm going to run this program. Oh, I don't know if I got the color done properly. Oh yeah, you can see here, if you look, I spelled color using the Canadian or British spelling with a U in it, and then I did color without it. So this is a good point. So and it was not an error. So I'm going to just go back and get rid of that U in there. So it's spelled color, and I think now it will actually change it to cyan. Two things I want to mention right away is I have not given a name to this sphere. So that let's say that later in the program I wanted to change this sphere. Let's say I wanted to show it as cyan for a while. Then later I wanted to shift it to say blue or green. There would be no way for me to access this object. So what I need to do is give it a name. So I'm just going to call it, say, ball. So now that it is called, now that it has a name, I can change any of the attributes. So I'm going to say ball equals, or actually ball. Now the way to reference one of the attributes is to use the period. So if I say ball dot color equals, and now I can say color dot blue. I'm going to anticipate we're not even going to see the cyan. In fact, maybe I'll make it yellow, something that's very different. Okay, I'll run this. And notice we didn't even see the cyan, it went straight to the yellow because it happened so quickly. I think we could put a weight in here. I can't remember exactly how weight works, but let's just say a weight of 10. Oh, no, I think I got that wrong. Let me just see. So if I go to the help over here, and if I look for weight, okay, so I looked around in the help a little while. I realized it's not called weight, it's called sleep. So I go back over here, and I think it's done in seconds. So if I say sleep, maybe I'll have it sleep for half of a second. So we should see it cyan, and then it turns into yellow. So that's the first thing I wanted to say, is that you can either change attributes of an object when we make it. So in line 4, we created the sphere, we gave it a color and a position, and we gave it a label so that we could refer to it in a different part of our program. Line 5, pause for a little bit. In line 6, we changed it to being yellow. So that's the one thing about attributes. The other thing I wanted to say about attributes is that you can actually make up attributes. Some are built in, other ones you can make up. So if I said ball dot, and I'm going to say, remember I misspelled color before, ball dot color equals 5. Let's try if I run this program. There's no error for it. So if I would have done something improperly, and then later on if I would to say print, and I have to put this in parentheses, print ball dot color, comma, ball dot color. Okay, so this may seem kind of confusing. Here's what I'm asking it to do. I want it to print, first of all, whatever the ball.color is, which is the built-in attribute. And how is it going to represent yellow when it prints it out? Let's find out. And then comma is going to make a bit of a space. and then it should give me the value for the attribute that I created, which is ball.color with a U in it. So if I run this program, you'll see on the bottom I get this 1, 1, 0 in parentheses. So that is the color yellow, and then I get the 5. So why is 1, 1, 0 yellow? So if I go to the help over here, and when I'm talking about, I'll go back to sphere, actually working with, I'll go working with 3D objects and look at color. So the color is a vector with 3, instead of x, y, z in this case, it's going to be 3 numbers, and the first one is the amount of red, then green, and then blue. So you'll see that yellow is actually a vector, which is 1, 1, 0. So you can create your own colors by just giving some value between 0 and 1 for each of those red, green, and blue amounts. Okay. I think that's about all I've got to say. The other thing I was going to mention is about spacing in, say, line 4, and I'll just give a little bit of space so you can see it. If you're doing a whole bunch of attributes, like let's say if I've got this very complicated one, I've got a ball, and I'm going to say, oh, I'm going to get an attribute called mass. I'm going to say it's equal to 0.3. I'm going to change its radius, which is a built-in attribute. I'm going to make it equal to 1.5, so it's a little bit bigger. After a while, sometimes you can kind of run out of space. So you're allowed to, for example, I can hit enter there and sort of tab over a little bit. This is the way I like to do it. And then you can sort of keep track of things a little bit. You'll notice you still need a comma in between each one of those attributes that you're defining. Oh, actually for mass, I'll be really neat there. So I can see all the things I'm defining. You need to put commas in between, and you still need to put parentheses. So if I run this program here, now it's slightly bigger. Oh, and it's still turned color. All right. I hope this helped, and take care.